What's up guys, DreamcastGuy here, talking today about Tomb Raider's re-release. That's right, I'm just going to call it a re-release, because this is not an HD remake, because it was already HD. This isn't really a Master Edition or a Legendary Edition like they did with Skyrim, where they put all the DLC in one, gave it a fancy new box, and re-released it. That was pretty sweet. So I have a few examples here of legitimate re-releases. So we're going to start out with the Splinter Cell trilogy. Now you can get this for 20 bucks at pretty much any store, and it's just the original three first Splinter Cells, but they made them HD. They didn't do a shit ton with the graphics. They fixed the lighting in each one of them, and it's really sweet. They made all of the controls as tight as they were in Chaos Theory in all three. So for a low price tag that was cheap for them to make, you are actually getting your original favorites on your new system. That is a good remake. Now, we have Final Fantasy II. Now, the whole game is pretty much the same. There's a few extra added dungeons, but all the spell effects are increased a fuck ton. Sprite animations, the whole graphics engine is completely redone for the better. The only difference is that basically they kept the original mechanics, everything all concrete. So you're playing Final Fantasy II, but on crack. This is something Tomb Raider is not. It is pretty much the same thing. And the final example of what we wish all remakes were like is Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. This is a remake of the original Metal Gear Solid, but fucking matrixed out. I mean, they redid it all in better graphics and redid all of the voice acting, and they did all the cutscenes again. So instead of like, oh, here's where Snake slightly dodged something, instead he does like a backflip, splits in the air, and dodges a piece of like ceiling that Cyber Ninja backflip kicked at him, and it's like, whoa! But we're not gonna get that. We're not going to get that at all with this new Tomb Raider. You know what we're going to get? We're going to get what we paid $60 for less than a year ago, we're getting again. And for people who are wondering why the hell Square Enix is doing this, it's because Square Enix sold 3.4 million copies of the original game. Enough to cover all of their expenses and quite a bit more, but they were expecting 6 million. And people go, why were they expecting so much? And let me tell you, as somebody who's managed a few companies and worked at a bunch of different companies, every company wants to make 10% more than their previous fiscal year. So if you're a company like Square Enix, who's always developing 3 or 4 games at once, then you're going to expect each game to sell 10% more than the equivalent release of that quarter last year. So they were expecting it to go against, I don't know, probably Final Fantasy 14 or 13 or 13-2 or something that actually already had a lot of backing and sold a lot. And so they were expecting Tomb Raider, which was a damn good game, but they were expecting it to just, I mean, be printing money for years to come. And unfortunately, I hate to tell you, Square Enix, but it wasn't that. I mean, I loved the Tomb Raider game, but I'm not going to rebuy it. Nobody's going to rebuy this. I think you're probably going to barely make back the money you spent remaking this. You're probably, I'm going to take a shot in the dark and guess that it's going to sell less than 1 million copies in the first 2 weeks. So put me down on that. Less than 1 million copies in the first 2 weeks. Because Square Enix, I'm a fan of yours. I mean, hell, I got Square Enix games laying all over the fucking floor, but money. I know you're a company, and companies are supposed to just, you know, make money, 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 but realize that if you're not taking your time with your products, Final Fantasy Remake, you know, it's just that, I don't know. Square, I used to be a huge fan of yours, but slowly, your heart is turning black. This has been DreamcastGuy saying like, comment, share, and subscribe, and as always, guys, keep dreaming.